All right, it's a moment that we've all been waiting for. Let's start with introductions. Ian Cox. 2 minutes.
It's an honor to be here once again to see so many fun and smiling faces. 2 years ago, we lit a fire together of the grassroots because our freedoms were at stake. Right now, our nation is even more in peril. We all know this. We see leadership in the White House that's not there, entirely not there. We see international WEF-style oligarchs wanting to push a treaty on us that will be reminiscent to the lockdowns, and yet that will be decided by international folks. We see a debt that's out of control, folks, 34 trillion. And when you look at that, and when my wife and I looked at it, we thought, what is the calling that God has for us right now? Our nation, Ronald Reagan said, is a nation under God, or it will be a nation going under. And unless we continue the fight and never give up and never surrender, then it will be a nation going under. And so we look forward and we see an opportunity, wide open seat. And I want you to imagine something. Those issues that matter to you and your children and your grandchildren. Do you want someone who's been 17 years, my entire life, fighting for freedom in the courts and in elected, seasoned, experienced legislature, as well as town councils? Do you want someone who has gone toe-to-toe and currently eyeball to eyeball with President Biden and Merrick Garland in defense of things like our Second Amendment in the federal courts? Do you want someone who can sit on that dais, and can do the proper cross-examinations that I have dedicated my life to do to expose and bring out truth? Imagine who you want to make those hard questions and then vote accordingly. I'm the guy who supports President Trump. I think I get 10 seconds. I don't just support President Trump. As you know, I've been endorsed by him before, and I have endorsed him now as the first and only. Maybe we'll get some more endorsements of President Trump. He will be our nominee. I'm asking you to send me to support him in Congress, but most importantly, to support you. Because you know me. I will fight with a backbone. I will not surrender. I will never give up. All right.
Good evening. I'm Chris Heiser, and we've been on the campaign trail for 13 months, so I change up my opening speech a little bit every once in a while, so this is a newer version of it. Like I said, my name is Chris Heiser. I'm a decorated retired Maryland State Trooper, recipient of the Medal of Valor. After I retired, I served 7 tours in Iraq and 3 tours in Afghanistan as a contract dignitary protection agent. I protected the generals over there. Saw a need for PTSD and suicide prevention, so I came home and I became a chaplain. Got my master's degree in chaplaincy, now volunteer at the Veterans Service Center in Frederick, Maryland as a volunteer chaplain, and other organizations around the area that asked not to name them because of political reasons itself. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my family. This is my wife sitting here in the front row. Tonight is our 16-year anniversary, and we decided I'm a father of 4. Well, I should say 3, and the 4th one's going to be here in a month. So, keeping our fingers crossed. I'm sorry, father of 4, grandfather of 3, the 4th one will be here. I was going to say that. Wonderful show. Now, I have an acronym that I live by in life, and I brought it over into my campaign. It's LIFE. L-I-F-E. Stands for Liberty, Integrity, Freedom, and Egalitarianism. I have some visions for my campaign. I'm the only candidate that has stood with the Montgomery County Board of Education, out front of the Montgomery County Board of Education, protesting from May through September as a chaplain with the Family Rights for Religious Freedom, trying to get the parental rights reinstated. I've been out there. I went to Virginia, down to Richmond for the 4th Circuit Court for the appeal on that one. So we're hoping in the next couple of weeks we're going to hear whether or not we get the injunction to get that back in and stop the indoctrination of our students. I will always champion school choice. The money must follow the students, plain and simple. You want to homeschool, whatever it is. I will always back the blue. Feel the passion in my voice. This is just not my campaign, it's our campaign. Let's make it a dialogue and not a monologue. My name is Chris Heiser, and remember, you are wiser with Heiser. Thank you.
Mr. Neil Parrott.
Good evening. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. It's a real honor to be able to talk with each of you. Before I get going, I do want to thank a person who ran for this office before, Ami Hober. She's with her husband, Mark Epstein. Thank you for being here. A little bit about my history. I grew up in the Annapolis area, and I went to Old Mill High School. While I was there, I swam for the Naval Academy junior swim team. I played water polo for their team. I went to the University of Maryland in College Park, where I got my civil engineering degree. Went on to Mount St. Mary's, where I got my MBA. Worked for the Maryland State Highway Administration, and then was the Deputy Director of Public Works for the City of Frederick. Left there to start my own company. I think it's important that people go into politics who have business experience. Of course, I've got my own business. I ran the last 2 times. Of course, I served for 12 years as a delegate, but I was the nominee 2 years ago and 2 years before that. You might know I sued and won. We got the map changed. That's why this is such a competitive race. Very thankful for that. Worked with the Judicial Watch. You know, I was thinking about not running this time. You guys might have noticed that. I didn't sign up until Friday, the last day. My wife and I prayed about it. We've been praying about it since the summer, and actually, honestly, it would have been nicer to not, but I love seeing you guys tonight. But as I thought about our country, I look at a border that's open, and Governor Abbott, they're cutting down his fence. I mean, what in the world? I look at Bidenflation, people can't even buy a house. Young people, the inflation rates are out of control. Our national debt, we're paying about 40% of our tax dollars just go to pay the national debt, and it's increasing every single year. We've got to bring that under control. Also, freedoms, they're under attack. You can't even buy the things that you want to buy. You can't go to Home Depot and even buy an incandescent light bulb. You can't buy a dishwasher that works. You can't even buy a gasoline-powered car in the future. That's ridiculous. Our electric grid can't even handle it. As I think about this year, and I think about the election in District 6 and who can win, I think people want to see someone who's a common-sense conservative. I think they like the idea of an engineer who's a problem solver and who will work with others to get the job done, to help our district and to help our country. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you everyone for being here. I'm Dr. Mariella Roca, and I'm running for this seat because, like you, I've had enough. Our Congress is a mess, plain and simple. There's too much drama and not enough action happening down in DC, and that's why I'm here to change that. I truly believe that Congress holds the power and the reins to move our country forward, and they just refuse to and just want to keep us in this consistent state of gridlock. As a single mother, truly what's happening in this country, what's happening in the United States of America today keeps me up at night. And that's why I'm here, for my family, for your families, and to protect all of our constitutional rights. Without an economy, we're doomed. Without a southern border, we're doomed. Without a stronghold in the world, we are doomed. I served in active duty in the United States Air Force for 6 years in medical supply chain logistics. I deployed overseas to Afghanistan and served my country proudly. I raised my right hand and was willing to die for my country, and I would do it all over again. Having served in the Air Force really taught me and how to work and operate with precision and purpose. I understand command and control, and I understand how to take orders and execute them flawlessly. After the Air Force, I transitioned into federal service. I was a federal employee for 10 years for the Department of the Army, and I witnessed firsthand the inner workings of our government. I collaborated with fellow civil servants and tackled challenges head on. We worked together, we problem solved, and we got things done. Now, as a federal contractor in the private sector, I've seen how the Beltway supports our nation with critical services. My experiences have equipped me with a unique perspective, one that understands the complexities of the federal government. And let me tell you, it's even more messed up than any of you think in this room. I also have a doctorate in business. I own my own business, and I comprehend the struggles of entrepreneurship. I've walked the path of trying to make it on my own and facing obstacles and overcoming them. So why choose me to represent you in Congress? Because I've seen the dysfunction from multiple facets, and it's bad. I understand how the government operates, and I'm ready to hit the ground running on day one. I think that's very important. On day one, I'm ready to hit the ground running. So I humbly ask you for your vote and your support in the primary election on May 14th. Let's get someone through the Republican primary that can win the general election. And thank you for your support.
My name is Tom Royals. I'm running for Congress because when America's under attack, you send a fighter. I grew up here in Maryland, blessed with parents who taught us to dedicate our lives in service to God, country, and family. When America was under attack on 9/11, I knew that meant serving our country in the military. I attended the U.S. Naval Academy, where we learned to assume the highest responsibilities of command, citizenship, and government. After graduation, went to flight school, trained as a naval flight officer flying the F-18 Super Hornet. I deployed overseas, flying combat missions into Afghanistan and Iraq, where I earned an Air Medal. I transitioned out of the military and, I'm blessed to be a family man. My wife is here tonight with our 9th child. We've been married for 16 years. 9 children, 16 years. Now as a husband and a father, I see America under a different kind of attack. An invasion on our southern border, left-wing politicians targeting the rights of parents, reckless spending and out of control debt, threatening the livelihoods of every American family. As a husband and a father, I'll never stop fighting for our border to be secure, to uphold the rights of parents, and to achieve a safer, more prosperous future for every American family. America is worth fighting for. I'll say it again. America is worth fighting for. I'm ready to take the values that guided me on combat missions over Afghanistan and Iraq to fight for you in Congress. Send me, make me your nominee. Send a fighter. Remember, when America is under attack, you send a fighter. Thank you.
Brenda, you've been very patient. Miss Brenda Chan.
Save the best for last, huh? Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out tonight and starting your engagement with the process, a very serious process, a civil duty that we have, and that's voting. So thank you so much for coming out tonight. My name is Dr. Brenda Cham, and it's pronounced Cham, so just think, you know, the song, "Where are the champions?" That song, Champ. So drop the B, Brenda Cham. Thank you so much. I'm an educator, I'm a mom, and a wife, and I'm running for to be your next representative. I'm excited about this race. It's challenging. I'm a former state delegate in the Maryland General Assembly. I served under Governor Hogan's tenure, and I enjoyed representing my constituents in Hagerstown, District 2B, which is a largely majority Democrat district. The work was hard, but I don't give up. I work hard. I listen to my constituents. I champion those ideas that I think are appropriate. I'm the first Black African-American woman to serve in the Maryland General Assembly in Maryland's history in the Republican caucus. Now, as a Republican, we don't care about identity politics. Can I get the job done? That's what you want to know. Beyond my skin color, I can get the job done. I'm no Kamala Harris. The word salad, please. So what do you care about? Can I get the job done? Yes, I can. I have the propensity to work hard, to establish goals, to work collaboratively with people, to get the job done. Our country has fallen off a cliff. Between Bidenomics and the Inflation Reduction Act, which is really the opposite of what it's doing, you're struggling at the gas pump, you're struggling at the cash register, at the grocery store when you're buying that pack of hamburger meat that 3 years ago was one price and today is a little bit more. Families are struggling. I see it every day. I talk to people, I have conversations with them, and they're having a hard time. We need to look at the best candidate among us who can get us over the finish line. We've got to put that long lens on and look at the general. Yes, we need to get out of the primary, but who's the best person to get us out of that general? Montgomery County and Frederick is always the hill we Republicans die on. We need the right candidate to get us across that hill. And I humbly say, I am that candidate. God bless you. I'd love to speak with you to earn your vote. Let's win this seat, Republicans. We've got to save America. Thank you.